Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Working Title Podcast. It's, let's see, what's the date? Today is the 13th. So it's 8 days after Election Day, and Pima County still doesn't know who won anything. So let's give the big thumbs up there for everyone. Hey, remember, download the app. We're going to keep telling you that for the next 6 months, possibly more. So on Android or Apple, that's Clint Peak.
Yep.
How are you doing?
I'm awesome. Just got a call from the mayor. Some of those
Mayor
numbers.
Tom Murphy?
Mayor Ed Honey.
Oh, Mayor Ed Honey, that mayor. Okay.
Yeah, that mayor. That other mayor's a pretty cool mayor, too.
Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday to Murph.
Yeah.
So,
You saw him Sunday, I'm guessing.
rocking for heroes.
Yeah, I didn't see him.
It was a wonderful event.
I was busy with something else, but yeah. It's always a good time to spend time with either one of those mayors.
You are correct.
A couple of my favorite people.
They're two of the best
We're going to
guys.
get them in here together.
Oh.
With you and I.
That's like a rip in the in the worm. In
That'd be like
wormhole. It's a wormhole rip
Yeah,
right there.
that'd be
Having Murph and
WWF for one of those kind of like tag team wrestling.
Dusty Rhodes and
Wrestling.
Barry Windham.
But he was calling Lappin as he feels like Heather's going to win the sheriff's election.
Sheriff Lappin, that was a Freudian slip. Heather Lappin is running against the very angry, visceral Chris Nanos. And so we're at, right now, Heather is, after the last dump, which is only the last, we're talking the last 36 hours of a dump. All of a sudden, she's down to 1,500 lower than Nanos. But there's 42,000 votes left to go, and it sounds like they're breaking 55-45 for Heather.
For Heather.
And if that happens, mania, baby.
Yeah.
That would be huge.
Yeah, that would be.
Also, people have asked me about recounts, and anything within 0.5% automatically kicks a recount. Now, she's at 0.4, so she's already in recount level right now. Yeah. So what you hope is, I don't know if it will happen the other way, that she would hopefully not only just win the thing, but win by more than 0.5%, so we don't have to kick a recall.
We're looking 6, 7, 8, full point.
Yeah, that's what we would like. So,
boy, it didn't look like that last week, did it? When those early ballots were trickling in, and she was down.
Yeah, when I saw the trend, I was still confident on Juan.
Yeah,
I was feeling pretty good about Vince Leach.
Well, we had a history with Juan.
Right.
That's exactly as you said numerous times.
Yeah,
it's almost a carbon copy. Although it looks like he's going to win by more.
Actually, he's going to win by more.
Maybe 2,000 to 3,000 more votes this time.
So remember, at this time last year, it was so close they sent both of them to orientation to be a congressperson, and then
they sent
not necessary.
Yeah. Well, I personally called it yesterday when I could see the numbers. I put up a little picture that we shot with Juan in here a couple of weeks ago, and I was feeling competent enough, and the Congressman Juan Ciscomani put the love emoji next to it, so he's feeling it too. You know what I mean?
You know,
look, I never post a baseball score, Sean McClellan. You know what I'm talking about until there's a final, because I want the final to say final 9 innings.
Put your W flag up.
This is a little different with this when you know who the winner is. I think I ought to get that spam. My windshield might need to be replaced.
Thank you very much. I think Juan, and tomorrow on Wake Up, I'll have Schweikert and Juan back to back, and these two guys won the two of the most contested congressional general elections
in the nation.
Yeah,
in the nation.
If you look at the amount of money that was dumped on CD 6 and then David's CD 2, I think, off the charts.
Yeah.
Just off the charts.
Millions. Truckloads.
And even David Schweikert won his by more than he did the year before.
Yeah.
So the disgust with what was going on with a Democrat administration and the people who were supporting them, that crap was real. Right. And Schweigert's CD1, I apologize. So David's winning by 16,700 over his guy.
Wow.
So that actually got wide since the last time we looked at it.
That got wide fast.
That got wide real fast.
Hey, can we talk about this briefly? I know you've got an agenda here, and we got to cut this a little bit short because of a meeting that you've got to go to. But and David and I touched on it a little bit in the local Marana. We got to do a better job of counting in Arizona. We
Amen,
just
brother.
got to. And I stressed it earlier. I'm going to stress it again. I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
Yep.
Because if there's any doubt that might creep in when this thing drags on for days, if not weeks, that creates more doubt.
Of course.
Come on.
Well, then you have a media that says, well, we don't want to get into conspiracy theories or misinformation. Well, keep opening the door for such things, people.
Exactly.
Right. We're opening the door and all these things are
Exactly.
happening. And then you go, why would you say such things?
Well, and let's talk about the media real quick. I love that, and this is funny. I had a little laugh at it. Chris Wallace,
Yep.
who has an audience of maybe the same that we have, and he's national, is now going to leave when his contract's up with CNN. And you got to keep in mind, I remember his dad. He's one of the original godfathers of the media as we know it today, Mike Wallace.
And Mike had his own issues, but
Right, but he was
Yes,
there.
agreed.
And now you know what? You know what Chris is going to do? Podcast.
Yep.
And he invoked Rogan and a couple of the other leaders. And he says, I don't think I'll, and rightfully so, you're not going to get 47 million viewers to your podcast, Chris, but that's the medium that we're moving to. And how cool that we get to play a role in what happens moving forward.
No, it's
exciting.
Death of the legacy media, November 5th, 2024.
Yeah.
And
the official, like, we closed the box.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we were there. No, we didn't close the box. The dirt went in.
You had tens of millions of Americans ignore everything they were piling on to Trump and the Republicans. Just tens of millions ignoring it.
They didn't even ignore it. They didn't even know it almost existed. When you look at the numbers, Chris.
Right.
Especially coming out of the election, the election night, I think I did the math on, I'm talking cable TV.
Right.
Fox, CNBC, or MSNBC, and CNN, like 12 million people. No. About 20 million people watch those. And I think about the same number was on the regular ABC, NBC, CBS. So we had like 40 million people. You know what? All of them, except for Fox, and their numbers are back to normal, 3 million. Nobody's even watching these channels at all anymore.
Correct.
They're just done.
So I don't know if it's so think about this. So there was a portion of the population that ignored them. There was a portion of huge swaths of the population, as you say rightly, didn't even know they existed.
Yeah.
There was a portion of the population that was spurred on to help Trump even more because they were overselling it.
Yeah.
And the people that were eating it, like pigs at the trough, they now feel betrayed.
Have you seen those videos going around, especially of younger people? My son shows me. They're just losing. They put the camera up. You've seen them. And they're just losing it.
I like the women who are shaving their heads.
They're not having sex with guys anymore. I mean, it's just like, well, thank you very much, by the way.
Hold on. For you girls out there who say you're not going to, hold on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
We support you. You go, girl.
Yeah. And you know what? I hate that. I want to see a united America. We're the United States of America, but you got to stop eating the slop.
So
if we're gonna work together,
what I always tell Trump haters is, please tell me what American citizens suffered under Donald Trump.
It's amazing,
right? So what they always go to border on me. I go, those aren't citizens.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, what they really hated about him, and they still hate about him. But economically, which you and I are, and America voted economically, they're getting pounded right now, right?
Yeah.
No matter what kind of bullcrap was sold to them by Rachel Maddow and CNN and friends, this is the best economy ever.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
You know what? It's heartening. I woke up with joy, to be honest about it. That a lot of my fellow Americans, male, female, young, black, and you know what, Chris? I've thought about this a lot. You and I know a wide diversity of people.
Yes.
All cultures, all creeds, colors, backgrounds, ethnicities, persuasions.
Yep.
And you know what's cool? The majority of them said, you know what? Enough with the stupid.
Yep.
I'm paying attention now. You've got my attention. You know why? Because it's the economy, stupid. James Carville is right now distancing himself from all the things he said 10 days ago. Have you noticed that?
Of course.
Like he never even said them.
Well, so lots of things changed. So
Michael Moore is distancing himself from all he said.
So
like
the lady
he never even
who's
said him.
the DA in New York was talking about we are now going to have to protect New Yorkers from this administration, and we're going to defend because we have states' rights, right? Well, these are the same people that hated the Dobbs case that kicked abortion down to states. Because of states' rights. They hated that.
Yeah.
Right? They loved that these judges in the 70s made this decision about abortion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But now, all of a sudden, now that the unexpected, the horrible thing for them that happened, Trump winning, now all of a sudden they're big states' rights people. 8 days ago, not so much.
Yeah.
So it's just, there's no atheists in foxholes.
Yeah, amen. we David and I have this discussion. You and I've had this discussion. It's hard not to be a hypocrite when you're getting gored. It just is. To stay true to your principles all the time and it's hard. It really is.
Yep.
I mean, it shouldn't be, but it is. And I my hands up first. You know what? That's really not going to affect anybody if it works. It plays my way. It's not going to affect anybody. But yeah, but I'm not going to give you any examples because I can't think of one. But to stay true to your word all the time and your philosophy, it's really not easy. And I would say a lot of people, the reason why they do what they do, it's real easy. To just say what you got to say, and then, I didn't quite mean it that way.
Well, I think you're the same way. We like looking at the guy in the mirror every day, and we still like that guy.
Exactly. And be able to look at that person in the mirror with clarity and go, you know what? You're a knucklehead, by the way.
My one final note on the election for now, we're going to keep talking about it. It's the hugest story out there, is just when you think the average American bear is distracted, ignorant, right, or stupid, they pull this off.
How about this? Trump,
they woke up and...
We know for a fact, at least, and we don't know, but at least he got the second most votes any presidential candidate's ever had.
Now everyone's doubting the first one.
And now we got to question 2020. I mean, I'm a numbers guy. I just look at numbers for real and I got questions for sure. But you know what? I'll be honest. I never really seriously questioned before, even though there were a lot of people, especially from the right, saying it was stolen. And I'm like, well, the number's a little bit high, but okay.
I thought there was certain things in certain states that were very iffy, right?
Well, now it's definitely iffy to me. I was one of those that said, I need proof. Before you start talking about stealing it.
Dennis Prager, who's a syndicated host, I like Dennis a lot. He wrote an op-ed in Town Hall that said maybe the best thing happened was the 2020 elections and the way they went.
I think it is.
Right? Because what happened was now all of a sudden there's this huge group of Americans
it absolutely is.
That finally understand what government overreach can mean.
I absolutely think it was.
Right? So now it's up to the people that got the Republicans where they're at. This is just the first step.
Yeah.
Because this could reverse easily in 4 to 8 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So think about it. We went from...
statistically, it probably will.
Right? So 8 years, Reagan wins every state but Minnesota. 8 years later, Bill Clinton's the president of the United States.
Exactly. Yeah, human nature is what it is.
There's always that pendulum.
We revolve and evolve like basically every generation just starts back over and we repeat ourselves again and again and again. So take heart, all you liberals, and in 6 to 8 years you'll be back.
As a guy who's a conservative Republican who wants smaller government, less government interfering in our lives and our businesses, right? I need the Republicans to make real changes and hold on just a little longer before the change, because we want a place that our kids and grandkids.
Yeah.
Right, and we can't. What we just want, if we have a long term of what we just went through the last 4 years, that's not going to happen.
And as an independent, more libertarian, not the crazy stuff.
Yeah,
I agree with you 100%. I'm 100% independent, and I am conservative fiscally, and quite a bit of the social stuff.
Sure,
but I've said it, and I'll say it again. I just don't join cults of any kind.
Of course not.
And that would be political as well.
Well, the cult of personality is so huge.
And it's, I'm
right, whether it's our politicians or Taylor Swift.
Hey, faith, family, schools.
I heard
That's
this.
my thing.
Yeah.
You mentioned it. I beat you to it this time.
That's good.
The reason why I feel the way I do is I put my faith in a higher power. Men and women will disappoint each other on a pretty regular basis.
Human nature, buddy.
It is.
All right, so So you and young David were talking about the counting of votes is a joke, right?
Yeah.
And my favorite Babylon Bee that's come out was about 5 days ago. It says Arizona completes counting votes. Calvin Coolidge receives his 3 electoral votes. I thought that was pretty good. So Guy Benson over at townhall.com. And we could put that up. We got to figure out how to. I got to figure out. So I have good articles that we want to share. How do we? We'll got to do that one day.
We'll have to do a little training session in here. But
okay.
Hey, and by the way, Ron Arenas, Picture Rocks Heating and Cooling, and
hey, good morning.
The young stallion there, Raul.
There they are.
Yeah, there they are. There are our guys right there, man. In the meat locker is Chris.
Absolutely.
And today, you ain't far wrong. He's got the jacket on. I'm pre-jacket, but I've got one hand standing by.
You look beautiful.
I feel beautiful. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Do you think that Arizona's rating with the in education has anything to do? Is there any correlation between us being somewhere between 47 and 51 in the education system in the United States, including the District of Columbia, and our ability to count the votes? Is that a stretch on my part? Because
I would say the correlation would be that we don't get pissed off enough about it.
Well, I said a while ago I wasn't angry. I was disappointed.
I'm talking
maybe
about
I'm guilty of that.
As a population.
Maybe I'm guilty of that.
We're ignorant enough that somehow we're finally we're only getting there because of public shame.
Yeah.
Right? How many people that you know in other parts of the country sent you the picture of the United States, and the only one that we don't know what's gray is Arizona?
There are those zigzags in there. Yeah.
I mean, New Mexico is one of the worst run states on the planet, and they're done. Mm-hmm. So, come on. So I want to get to this story. This is about Florida, because we kept on hearing about Florida. Now, a couple of these things tried to make it through the Arizona legislature when Doug Ducey was ready to sign it into law. But we had some Republican on Republican political violence going on that kind of restricted some of this stuff from getting to the floor. Two specific state senators, but I won't get into that right now. Just personal crap. Okay? So what are they doing in Florida? Now remember, Florida's election reform came out of Bush v. Gore.
Right.
Hanging chads, all that jazz. That also spurred the Jimmy Carter, the Carter-Baker Commission on voting that they spent billions of dollars on. And what did the peanut farmer and Mr. Baker tell everyone? Don't do mail-in ballots. That's one of the main things that came out of Jimmy Carter's commission was no mail-in ballots because it's too easy for fraud. Okay? I didn't say it. Jimmy said it.
Yeah.
Okay? Now.
Pretty liberal guy, by the way.
Correct. I think he was more, he was liberal, but
he was a moderate. Compared
to the people
he voted
today,
on the liberal side.
Yeah.
Pretty moderate.
So let's get to Florida.
Pretty decent human being.
This is Guy Benson again, townhall.com. I'll put this up on my Facebook page and the Live the Dream media page.
And we will get better. That's one of our training things there, gentlemen.
We'll figure it out. This is the beautiful part of what we're building here.
What's working title?
Yeah.
we claim it.
It's right up front, kids. We didn't say final product. Yeesh. 24 years ago, the outcome of the election came down to Florida, spawning a chaotic, messy process that dragged into December. Okay? Al Gore didn't concede until December 13th.
Yeah.
Okay?
Hey, if we could have one picture of that, those that remember that, what would it be? Well, if we could have one picture to capture that moment in time.
It's not the hanging Chad?
The guy. You remember the guy? The guy with the eye, he's got his eye, and the Chad's kind of in, it's kind of out. That's when I think of election 2020, that's the picture I have in mind.
Because they had the punch card.
Yeah.
Right? The old punch card of doing it. So was it really a vote? Was it not a vote? Yeah. That kind of thing. The result of it was a 2001 overhaul that set Florida on the path, including updates and fine-tuning to become the nation's gold standard in vote counting. Yeah. So what are we doing, right? So what happens is... this is Andy Craig. He's the direction of election policy at the Rainey Center, a centrist think tank. Florida is famous among election nerds for having the fastest reporting of vote totals in the country, with near instant results on election night. Now, just to give you a little population, Arizona 7 million, 3 times that, 22 million is Florida. Just to let everyone know that they're getting it done by 9 o'clock that night, basically.
Yeah.
So Mr. Craig calls it the gold standard for other states to follow. So per state law, counties can begin counting mail-in ballots up to 25 days before Election Day. That includes just about everything except the actual counting, checking that signatures are valid and that votes have been legally submitted. Counting ballots starts 15 days before Election Day and must be completed. You're going to love this. All those early ballots have to be completed and counted before the polls close on election night. Leaking results early, a legitimate fear. I've heard some fears about how votes get counted in Pima County, believe it or not. But leaking the results early, a legitimate fear, as it could influence the decisions of voters yet to cast a ballot, is a serious felony offense.
Yeah.
Never been a leak. The process buys valuable time to get things right.
And you know what, Chris? That's Democrats and Republicans working together, following the law.
Correct.
Because it's 50-50. I don't know how many people are doing this, but whatever it is, it's an equal on both sides, and they're killing it.
Right. And
that's working together. That's united, right?
Right. And when you're voting in Florida, you have the highest confidence in the voting system than probably any other state.
But when they announced in Arizona, about 7:30-ish?
Right.
Florida, 96% had been counted.
And it's one of the most important states in electoral college vote, right?
And again, keep in mind, I want to reiterate, that's both sides of the political spectrum working together for those results, not one.
So Arizona had to count, I think it's 4 million votes. Does that sound right?
Something like that.
I think. Hold on, let me go to the Secretary of State's page. Yes,
maybe closer to 5, but
nope, less. So we have 4.3 million registered voters. 3.3 voted.
Okay.
So you got a 75% turnout.
Okay.
Now back to Guy Benson. So we just said 3 million.
Okay, shame on the 25% of you. No, I'm serious. Shame on you. Here we got this important election. Sold to me, if you were listening at all, as the most important election of our lifetime in the history of America, and 25% of the registered voters just said, I'm too busy for that.
So in Florida, they closed close to 11 million votes were tabulated accurately, reliably, and quickly last week, just as they did 4 years before. Floridians have robust early voting options at their disposal, backed by various integrity-securing safeguards, and ballots are processed as they come in. As soon as the polls close, a huge batch of already tabulated ballots are reported, with millions of Election Day votes counted up very efficiently. When the results are much closer than we've seen the last 2 cycles, each which resulted in GOP blowouts, races are able to be called in a timely manner, almost always on the night of election night.
Hey, you remember back in the good old days, or you're old enough to remember this, aren't you, Chris? The election was called election night throughout my whole...
That's why I hate election night parties.
Yeah. I think the first one for me was 2020, or 2000.
Right.
Gore, Bush. I think that was the first time we went to bed not knowing who was going to win.
That's true. I think that sounds right. I think that's reasonable.
I was 42 years old when that happened.
I just remember being, I did a live broadcast 2020 at Grant's Wonderful Places at, Reforma Union and Proof over there. And I just remember It was a weird night the way the thing was going. It wasn't looking great for Trump, but it was just, I didn't know it was, and I really, it confirmed me. I'm never going, I don't go to election night parties anymore. So what I would do is, especially in Arizona, if I'm a candidate, instead of having an election night party, right, just have when you win or if you lose, right, because you want to thank your volunteers.
Thank your volunteers, yeah.
Right? Like Siscomani, now that you won, if he's going to have instead of having an election night party, he should throw a party for his volunteers next week.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Agreed.
You know?
And quite frankly, I'm thinking, so 2000 was the first one we went to bed not really knowing.
Right.
And then we knew in 04, we knew in 08, we knew, and this has become a new phenomenon over the last 8-10 years that we just can't count votes, especially in places like Arizona.
The other thing, so we don't count early, right? The other
that don't make any sense to me. Why are we voting early, especially if the safeguards are in place not to release those? Why are we not? I mean,
don't know.
If you got a big project to do and you were able to knock all this out before that happens, aren't you knocking that out?
Correct. Yeah,
what are you going to do? What are you setting on them for?
So think about this.
It don't even make sense. There's no logic to that.
This story, Benson talks about how 4 days after Election Day, California, which he calls, it's true, the global hub of innovative technology, only had 63% counted.
Yeah. Of the universe, by the way. Global hub of the universe.
So again, this, if I'm the... I will tell you. Also, the early ballot, the people who vote early. Okay, well, we have to stop in Arizona. I would just whatever this thing is right here. I would run it in the legislature and let Katie Hobbs. I dare her to veto it. Mm-hmm. That's what I would do.
Yeah,
just dare her to veto it. All right. I don't think she would, but I dare her to.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Come on, are you kidding me?
That's a setup for her. She'd look like a jackass if she didn't
There's a gubernatorial election in 2 years.
Correct.
And you're going to veto that?
If I'm the Republicans, I say, here, give me your elections manual. Yeah. We're going to cut and paste, put it into legislation, and say, chew on this, Katie Hobbs.
Yeah.
Right? So what we do, what's really bad, is you're someone who got an early ballot. You're getting it. Well, not in Pima County. You didn't get it that early.
Well, if you got it, you had to call in.
So stupid.
Put a request in, and
I mean, it's almost as
it's laughable. I'm sorry, it's important, but it's laughable. You have one job in that job, right?
Right.
Is there any other role that you really play?
Yeah, me and Matt always say that all the time. You had one, just one job,
and you couldn't do it.
It was as sloppy as not anchoring down a she shed in a thunderstorm.
I thought we were not bringing that up again, but
no,
hey, in the end, I win. In the end, I win. I got 3 new air conditioners out of that.
Yeah.
Trade-off is really solid. See, the man upstairs takes care of those.
But what I was going to say is that you're getting it the early part of October. And you sat on it, or you voted on it. You voted it.
Yeah.
You sealed your envelope, and then you didn't mail it in.
Yeah. Has your vote been counted yet?
Just got voted. My vote just got counted in the last 26 hours.
And you voted on Halloween.
Me and Mom went over to the Wheeler Taft Library in Arizona, Southern Arizona's best town, Marana, and they only just got to me. And my buddy, my wife, 12, and our buddy Anna voted on the 1st at the Oro Valley Library. They just got counted. They were after me.
Unbelievable.
So again, there's several batches left. They also Pima County. Anyway, so before I get into that, so these people are walking their ballots in that they've been sitting on for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And those are the ones, because now you have to verify signatures and stuff. Yeah. And the Pima County Recorder's Office is in way disarray. That's their job. Yeah. That's not even elections. Yeah. The recorder has to verify that. Then they hand your ballot over to elections to count.
Yeah.
So you have a train wreck of a recorder's office. And because she's a Democrat in Pima County, she got reelected quite easily.
Yeah.
Right? train wreck of a recorder's office with people bringing tens of thousands of ballots on election day, which now have to be vetted.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Right?
It's stupid. And you know what? That's education, though, babe.
Yeah.
And we're 47th.
I'm with
Or
you.
49th or whatever.
So, of course, the other
How
part
hard
was,
is that, by the way? How hard is that as an elected official or a bureaucrat to say, hey, look, here's how this works? I mean, we're all adults in the room, right?
the other thing
Let's do
was,
this.
and
Let's try
this
this.
is the Arizona legislature's fault, the Republicans. We had so many propositions that we had 2 pages.
Yeah.
I've never
How many do
voted.
we have? Because we were discussing
13.
Was it 13? And you and I agree it should be at like 3, maybe.
That's it. My proposition
okay. You know what?
limit propositions.
Here's what I said this morning, Chris. If you're not going to legislate, then why do I need you?
Correct.
If you're going to just kick it back to us, then every quarter, let's vote on something. No, I'm serious.
No.
And we'll just get rid of all 90 of the senators and representatives. If you're not going to do your job, then I don't need you.
Well, it's true. And so the question is, by putting 11 propositions from the legislature, 11.
Yeah.
Because you thought, so they really, there was a credible,
I know.
there was a
get
credible
it.
fear of them
Explain that.
credible fear of them losing the legislature. So these are things they just said they got to get done now,
Yeah.
and that's life, right? And so most of them lost,
Yeah.
right? The only 2 that passed was 312 passed, which is the Goldwater one, the one about child sex trafficking, and I think the one about charging $20 to a crook to do a life insurance for a first responder.
Okay. I would run that child sex trafficking right at her.
Right.
You're going to veto that?
It's true.
I mean, seriously.
No,
That's not even partisan.
Agreed.
Or shouldn't be.
Or even the public safety
Not
one.
the public safety one.
So
to me, it's lazy politician. That's lazy leadership.
So to me, the ones that I saw, there was some about. Again, there were some ones about. It was almost like making like rules and regulations being made by the administration and the Arizona Department of Administration or the different departments, and that was another esoteric one that no one cared about.
It's lazy.
I'm glad that 140 went down, which was the ranked choice voting one.
Yeah.
That was a train wreck.
Yeah.
And the guy who's the guy who put that together, he was in the biggest space ever of success. He convinced all these groups, like Ted's group, okay? And one of Ted's people of his group, we're talking about SALC, she put in a minimum of 750 G's of her own money in the 140 by herself, okay? And so what it was is this guy up in Phoenix sold all these business groups who don't want to get in there and get their hands dirty on elections and things like that.
That's lazy.
It's lazy, right? So this is the idea that up top, we can change, just by this proposition, we can now magically make better elected officials in those seats, right? And you know what happened was, the cut of the millions of dollars he raised for a proposition that was a piece of crap to begin with.
Do you know how much fun Live the Dream Media is going to have over the next 4 to 6 years?
I'm having it right now, and it's just going to get higher.
Starting, like you say, last week.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun. Because you know what? I'm not a right or left guy. I'm forwarder. Are we moving forward or are we falling behind?
Yeah.
It's the colors you wear are really irrelevant to me. Yep. We're all American citizens. We're all citizens of Arizona. And we're going to, at Live the Dream Media, we're going to do our utmost best to provide the facts with little opinion. I mean, we'll throw some opinion in there. We want facts. We want people educated. We want people knowledgeable. My buddy Rick Peralt, love him to death. He ran still does.
This is the baseball guy.
The baseball guy.
Yep.
He ran at the time I met him. He was not only running Top Choice Baseball, he's going into the USSSA Hall of Fame this coming weekend. Okay. I'm putting together a video for him right now. He's a brother. But when he was actually coaching a team, when his kids were little, Corey's now in his mid-30s, so we're talking 20 years ago. He had all the kids on his team bring him his report card.
Oh,
bring
sure.
him a report
Yeah,
card.
you told me this before.
And they're like, hey, whoa, you're not a school. You can't do that. And he goes, hey. Now, Rick was doing it out of love. He wanted to know if there were problems that he could address. But what he told the parents were, I don't want dummies playing for me. That's not what it was. Nobody got cut from the team. He wanted to know if little Johnny here or Corey there was having a problem. He was going to
As a
use
youth
baseball
coach,
as a carrot.
you're still part of building their character.
Exactly.
Right? Not
Exactly.
a small percentage of your kids, infinitesimal amount of
Yeah.
your kids are going to play
Yeah.
in the pros. Right?
That was my line. Hey, your kid's not playing shortstop for the Yankees. Let's have fun.
He could make the Cubs, but not the
Yeah.
Yankees. See, I got
Hey,
that little zinger in there.
tickets are on the line. Now you keep talking smack. Yank that back.
So I think the Florida model should be sold out to everyone out there. And now Trump just named Elon Musk
Yeah.
and Vivek
Yeah.
to run Doge,
Yeah.
the Department of Government Efficiency.
Yeah. I love it.
Now, if they play this right, and you're able to control the message a little bit, right, and show this is what people want. No one, if you and I were doing the Men on the Street interview,
yeah.
and you would say, "Do you think there's too many government employees?"
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Everyone's like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Are they
But
overpaid?
how many too many? How many is too many? How
Right.
many are there?
That's why we have a Doge.
And before anybody loses their mind here, again, there's policies and procedures in place. These guys are going to be able to point out problems, but they're not going to be able to go in there and like with the machetes and do it on their own.
No.
There's a process. So before anybody freaks out about these guys are running around and they're going to just chop heads off everywhere, that's actually you educate yourself to how the process works.
So the average annual salary for a U.S. government employee is $63,000. Okay.
Let me tell you something, Chris, you know this.
Show me your report card.
Yeah. I need to receive a report card. You know this for a fact. Do you know that right now in America, in 2024, there are more people working for the government than there is in private enterprise?
Yep.
How does that sustain? Because government doesn't produce anything. That's not their role, by the way.
They sure like borrowing and printing money.
Exactly. So how, and I don't know what the number is, but I think we're leaking into 55, 45, maybe more, the people, and I don't mean elected officials, I mean people that work for the government. Their paycheck comes from a government entity. They're an employee of a town, a city, a municipality, a
Right.
state. There's more people in that column
So one of the problems
than there is in private
one
enterprise.
of the problems with our area in Tucson, Pima County, is we have way too many government
Way
employees
too
as
many.
part of a mix of a community.
Because what
Right.
I'd like to see, and I think you would too, I know you would, hey, we need government employees. And I'm not going to knock on anybody, but Marana has 400 and some
Right.
employees over there. I don't know if that's the number they need, but I'm going to guess and say you could probably do it on 250, and the other 100 are going to be contractors for the city, or the town of,
No.
right?
Yeah.
And we're going to be more efficient with that.
There's some truth
That's
to
just- I love Marana, so I don't want anybody to call
what I've
me up
learned
calling
though,
her
right,
wrong,
is
Clint,
so,
but-
and then we're gonna have to wrap up. I got to get going, but got to go see my mom for something. But where we're at is Pima County, and you talk about government employees usually vote for people who want more government employees.
Exactly.
And there's one party that's really more for government employees.
Yes, sir.
So when you look at Pima County, University of Arizona,
Yep.
50,000
Government
employees, right? Pima County's 6 to 7, Tucson's 4 to 5, right? We can just, and then you have all the federal agencies that are in Tucson, right? This crap starts to add up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so the government employee becomes a very credible, a big block in the voting. Right. And so you'll say, so if you say there's, out of that group, there's 100,000 government employees just in Tucson, Pima County. Well, is their spouse likely to vote? Well, now I got 200,000 people in a city of, a voting block
I think
of maybe.
the number's bigger than that, Chris.
I'm not going to argue with you.
In Pima County, it's definitely bigger than that.
So, but once you start throwing in, that 2.3 factor,
Right.
on that 100,000
Yeah, yeah,
number,
yeah.
all of a sudden there's a credible block that wants
that's why
more
you're
government
seeing
and likes crap just the way they are.
That's why you're seeing people in Pima County that run countywide showing up with 250,000 votes.
Yeah.
That you're going, how in the world did that happen? Well, you just gave the formula.
If you knew really how pathetic Cazares Kelly is as a recorder, you wouldn't vote for her ever.
Yeah. She likes our cinnamon rolls, for the record.
Nice.
She's a cinnamon roll gal.
I love that.
So when we, and by the way, when we talk and do call names, it's not personal. This is business. Right out of Godfather 1, baby.
So remember, the Arizona Daily Star had a choice to endorse Cazares Kelly or this guy named Benny White. Okay, now Benny White as a name in Pima County won't work, but Benny actually did election stuff. Right, he's like a lawyer. He's worked on elections, all these different things, and they literally said, he knows way more than she does.
But
she knows nothing about the role. But she seems like a nice lady with good intentions, so we're endorsing the lady who knows nothing about a thing that's one of the most important things for democracy. Yeah. So
let's close on that, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Go see your mom. Hey,
Nice
if you
seeing all of
don't
you.
have the app, right now is a really good time to download Live the Dream Media.
Especially,
Right now, it's free.
You
Christmas,
want the Chris DeSimone Christmas?
It's playing.
That thing's killing it.
Come on. Yeah, the numbers, David, I have to show you, the numbers are pretty staggering. And I got to tell you
For
something.
the Christmas channel?
For the whole thing.
Oh.
So the other day, and I told this to Chris in person, but I'm going to tell you guys. So I'm at church the other day. Tammy is really, my wife is really talking up Live the Dream Media. And this young guy goes, Live the Dream Media? I've got the app. And he so quickly opened the app, and he opened it up.
God bless him.
And thank you, Adam. I said, what do you enjoy the most about that? He goes, you and Chris on Working Title Podcast.
Oh,
I'm like, okay,
nice.
Here's some roses. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Go get a free
my
coffee
friend.
on it.
God bless you.
Go see Mom.
I will.
Go see Mom.
I will.
Wish her a happy Thanksgiving for us.
I will. Ron Arenas, thank you, buddy. Raul, thank you for all your support. I appreciate it, guys. Ron Arenas, it's a week from Saturday. He'll be riding 48,000 miles in the El Tour to Tucson.
Yeah.
So
Is that next Saturday?
a week from Saturday.
So
I
that
can't hear you.
23rd.
I can't hear you for some reason.
23rd?
Hold on.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, that is the 23rd.
Yeah. Beautiful.
This guy, he's in training mode right now.
Yeah, he is.
You guys offered him some Chick-fil-A, and he's like, dude, I'm in training mode. I ain't eating that crap.
He did say pretty much his exact words.
Absolutely.
I don't think he used the word crap, but
Thank you, Ron and Raul. Always appreciate your efforts. Thank you very much.
yeah. Thank you guys. Have a great
Thank
day.
you. Live the Dream Media, Working Title. You guys have a great day. Again, download app, Apple or Android. Go to your stores. Make it happen. Listen to the classic Christmas station. I'm very proud of it. And as my boy Bob Ross would say, God bless.
God bless. Yeah, be nice